How does water pollution and the unequal distribution of water impact trade, industry, and drinking water? Well, this is going to be the same for Africa. It's going to be the same for Asia. It's going to be the same for the Middle East. Water is a big deal. Let's start with drinking water. Well, if the water's polluted, how's that going to affect the drinking water? You can't drink the water. Let's take the Ganges River, for instance. The Ganges River is one of the most polluted places on Earth. I know this is gross for us to think about, but this is what happens to the Ganges. In the Indian culture, they don't bury their dead most of the time. What they do is they cremate their dead. So they take them out to the bank of the river. They set up what's called a funeral pyre. It's basically a bonfire. And they put the body of their loved one on top of that fire. They light it on fire. When the fire is over, there are still human remains on top of that fire, and a lot of times they just push it into the river, into the Ganges River. Factories also dump their waste products into that river, and raw sewage also goes into that river. And guess where the poor people in India that live on the Ganges bathe? And guess where they get their drinking water? You guessed it. Right out of the Ganges River. You can watch people walk into the Ganges River, bathe themselves off, and then get a bucket of water and take it back to their house. You can almost imagine what the effects of that are. The effects is people don't live very long living on the Ganges River because they're constantly drinking polluted water. Why do they do it? Because it's the only water they have access to. Okay? So if your only source of water is polluted, you've got to drink it or you're going to die in a few days. But if you do drink it, you're going to have a short life term. So this is a problem, not only in India, but also in other places in Asia, in China. I believe the Yellow River is also very, very polluted, and people drink out of it and get their bathing and their cleaning, and they do all kinds of things in the Yellow River that they probably ought not do because it's very polluted. The Middle East is another example. Water there is not really polluted, but it's very scarce. There's not a whole lot of it. And so this affects how people trade, where they trade, and how they trade, what they trade. Water is actually expensive in the Middle East. So I'm told. And that's this, the unequal distribution of it. What causes an unequal distribution of clean drinking water? Well, money does. If you have a limited supply of limited supply of clean drinking water, who's going to get the drinking water? The people with the money to pay for it. Well, by and large, the majority of the population is not going to be the rich folks. The rich folks are a small percentage of the population. They're the ones getting the clean drinking water. Everybody else just has to find it where they can. And a lot of times they find polluted drinking water. Okay, so that's basically it. Water pollution impacts trade, industry, and drinking water because people die from it. It affects trade because people will actually trade for drinking water. And it affects industry because it tells the producer what to produce. Water cleaning agents and things like that. Can't think of anything else. If you can think of anything else, bring it to class and we'll talk about it. Thanks for watching.